Ay, 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 he's going to censor. He's going to censor everything. Everything is going to be censorship. Who would have known? Who would have predicted this? Why, you, of course, if you were subscribed to my channel, I already said that there's going to be censorship on Trump's Truth Social. I mean, I said this when he even announced that he was going to make a social media, because it's impossible to make a social media today without censorship. And it also depends, like, what is your definition of censorship? Is it like the First Amendment of the United States? Well, like, the First Amendment of the United States doesn't allow porn, doesn't allow fighting words, doesn't allow threats, doesn't allow blackmail. So, like, do you want absolute free speech, like everything goes? Well, then you're going to get the child molesters there, and you're going to get the terrorists and everything, you know? Like, I mean, ISIS could have accounts, so if you get that, like, that's the problem. If you get that, it's not going to be popular. It's just going to be some fringe website that people don't want to go there. Now, you might say, well, I don't care about other people. I don't care if the website is popular or not. I just want to be there and say whatever I want. And it's like, okay, but you have 4chan for that. You have 8chan. You get IRC. I mean, there are so many venues on the internet where you can go and you can have free speech right now. But if you actually want to reach a large audience, if you actually want to influence people, well, you kind of need the normies. And if you want the normies, well, I'm sad to say the normies don't really appreciate pornography. They don't really appreciate gore. Now, I just want to say, I personally love the internet of the 90s, the Wild West of the internet, where you had all sorts of edgy stuff, from the bathtub lady to the lemon party and all of that. Okay, I'm with you on that. Like, it doesn't bother me personally. But I can tell you, realistically speaking, I don't think you'll ever get that internet back. Ever. Alright? Like, you need to be realistic about it. Not gonna happen. Ever. Alright? So, if you can't get that, then what can you get? Like, what is it that I would want? Something that's genuinely achievable and something that I would actually be able to see done. And that has to be that the rules should apply to everyone. There shouldn't be some people above the rules. There shouldn't be priority creators. There shouldn't be some people which manage to be above the rules. And they get to do whatever they want. They get to break the rules openly, and nothing happens to them. But everyone else that breaks the rules immediately gets punished. Because right now on Twitter, if you're a normal user, you get stopped for a broken taillight. But if you're a priority creator, like a blue check mark, oh, you can run over people, and nothing happens. I've seen blue check marks doxing people. I've seen blue check marks harassing people. I've seen blue check marks do all of the vile stuff, and absolutely nothing happens to them. And then I saw other people just making an edgy joke, or making some funny, or just posting some crime statistics or whatever. Boom, bam, wham, thank you, ma'am. I mean, even people telling blue check marks to learn to code was a bannable offense on Twitter. So that is something that I hate more than censorship. I can deal with censorship. I can just try to frame it in a different way. I can try to come up with different ways of expressing myself. Like, it's fine. But what I do not like, and what I hate the most, is that when you have some people that can break the rules and nothing is done against them. So that is the first thing that I would want from a platform. Like, everyone should be equal under the rules, under the TOS. The second thing that I would like is for the rules to be clear. Like, what is pornography? Like, what are we talking about? So, if I show a lady in a bikini, which is very lewd, but like everything is covered up, is that okay? What if I show a breast exam? Like, I show a medical video and I show someone how to do a breast exam. Is that okay? What about Uzaki-chan, fully clothed? Is that okay? Right? Like, I want to know exactly what you understand by pornography. Like, what exactly is it? Where is the line? And it should be very explicit. And once it's set, then everyone should follow the rules. And then it's also the question, like, what is hate speech? Right? Like, is hate speech making jokes? Like, if I make some edgy jokes, like South Park, is that hate speech? Do I have to insult another person? Is that hate speech? I mean, if I just talk in general, if I just make a joke about, I don't know, Romanians, and I talk about vampires and stuff, is that okay? Or is it hate speech? Even if I'm not targeting an individual, even if I'm not targeting a person. And if that is the case, if that is hate speech, then any joke about white people should also be hate speech. Like if you say you can't joke about a group of people, well, white people are a group of people. So you shouldn't joke about them, right? And if you do, then it should be banned. So that is something that I would like to see. Will I see it? I've no idea. But because of that, I'm not endorsing or being against Trump's truth special or whatever he's calling it. It's something that I can't pronounce myself yet. I mean, will I use it? Probably. But will I encourage other people to use it? I don't know. I legitimately don't know because it's not out yet. So if it managed to actually follow what I've asked, everyone being equal under the TOS, and the rules to be very clear, if it has that, I'm happy. Like, my expectations are very lower right now. Like, if I get that, then I can talk about, all right, well, let's have more free speech. And the thing is, like, the free speech would come with time anyway, because think about it. Right now, the reason all these platforms manage to have a hegemony is due to the fact that if you get banned from one of these major platforms, you don't really have many alternatives to go to. I mean, sure, there might be some fringe alternatives, but if you want to reach a large audience, if you get banned from YouTube, you're kind of done. And the reason that is because there aren't that many alternatives. There are a couple, but they're not powerful. They're not rivaling YouTube in popularity. So if those alternatives would exist, then you would see less censorship. Look at Patreon, for example. Patreon started banning people for even offside behavior. So their personal opinions or what they would do, and then they would start doing like random rules that had absolutely no reason to be illegal anyway on Patreon, and they started banning people left and right. So then people moved to Subscribestar, and once that happened, you'd notice that Patreon stopped banning people. Like, when's the last controversy that you heard about Patreon? There aren't any controversies. Why? Because they're not banning people anymore. Why? Because they know that if they ban people, they go to Subscribestar, so they don't want to lose those people. So now Patreon is a good little boy. It doesn't have any more controversies. No one is getting banned from what I heard because they have the competition. And that's what I'm hoping that this would actually achieve. Like, the more social media companies out there, the more competition, the less likely it is for YouTube and others to ban people. And even with the censorship, by the way, like, I'm okay with not saying certain words. I don't like it, but like, I can put up with it. And having entire political ideas banned. Like, there are political concepts that no matter how you frame them, if you say them on YouTube, you get banned. Or if you say them on Twitter. I mean, it's getting to the point where you can go to a taxi driver and you can ask them, hey, do you think trans women are women? What do you think about the pandemic and the government? What do you think about the elections? Blah, blah, blah. And if you take what that taxi driver tells you and you put it on Twitter, you get banned. I mean, it's so censorious that, like, mainstream talking points, which you can find out there in society if you talk with people, cannot be expressed on social media. So yeah, I do think censorship is a problem, but I also think that the moment you're going to have alternatives, the problem will go away naturally. Like, you're not going to require the companies to remove the censorship because they're going to remove them themselves, because they're going to notice, okay, well, if we keep this up, we keep losing people. And at one point, you're going to notice that the competition is just getting more and more subscribers. It's kind of the same with Tucker Carlson. Like, why do you think they're not canceling Tucker Carlson? It's because he's too big. He's got, like, way too many people watching him. So it would be financial suicide to cancel him, because Tucker Carlson could just go on the internet on whatever platform he wants, and he would take probably half of his audience there. So they know this, which is why they're not canceling him. And it's pretty much the same with social media. It's like numbers speak. The more numbers someone has, the better. I mean, why do you think YouTube hasn't got rid of Steven Crowder yet? They're really trying to. I mean, they're trying to, but he's got way too many subscribers. And they know that if they kick him, he's going to go somewhere else. So they keep giving him strikes. They keep him under heel like a good little boy. But, you know, that's my point, right? So the more people leave towards other platforms, the more these platforms freak out, and the less censorious they get. So I don't think you're going to just have a company that becomes 100% free speech off the bat. If you think that's going to happen, you're delusional. Like, you're not in the real world. At least you do not understand how things work. It isn't a problem if you want that to happen one day, but that day isn't here. I mean, it took them 6 years to bring this level of censorship on the internet. It's probably going to take 12 years just to bring it halfway back to the way it was. It's not going to happen overnight. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.